Alright, so back in the garage. Here are the stock running boards that are on there. This is the one that got damaged. I'm going to be replacing it anyway. So, climb under. It looks like it is just 3 bolts. 3 bolts in the rear. And then same thing in the front. And I assume the same on the other side. So go ahead and take those off. Alright, so got all the bolts off. It looks like it should. Just lift off those posts and come right off, which it is. So simple enough to take off. Alright, so we got those off. Those are pretty easy. Just 6 bolts on each one, 3 at each hinge there, or mount. Take those off. Came off. Love the way the truck looks without them. However, functionality wise, the family would kill me. So got it off this side. I think it looks awesome. But let's take a look and see what's in the box here for the amp power steps. Let's break into this box and see what we got. Alright, so if we're looking at the instructions, make sure the amp is open. You have this cover over top, the gear, and then the motor is going to fit on like so with those bolts. So let's just go ahead and get that set up. So don't need this tape on there. So step is open. Get that lined up. There we go. All right, so these. Alright, so these are going to have to get torqued to 36 inch-pounds. I'll find my torque wrench and an Allen wrench to do that. Then let's make sure we got everything. Got the 2 boards correct. Got the assembly. Got the assembly with the motors, wiring harness, controller, gear, LED lights, OBD2 plug. Going to install the mounts and the no motor in the back, one with the motor in the front, and we'll see what we need to do. Alright, so here's 3 old the old studs. They're already on there. Need to put this on. This one's a little bit harder to get to. That's going to need an open-end wrench to tighten up, because I'm not going to get a socket on there. These other ones can still get a socket on. Alright, so those are snug. Go do the back ones. Then it's just the same thing in the back, just without the motor. Put it onto the studs. Alright, got those snugged up. Alright, so those are snugged. That's where the steps will set. I have to say, this is like the perfect height, this 4-inch lift. I could just roll around underneath the truck without any problems and reach everything, so I'm really enjoying the lift. But yeah, so these are installed. They're just snugged up. I'm going to go install the other two on the other side, get those snugged, and then I'll go through and torque everything. I think it said, what was it in the manual? Yeah, 16 foot-pounds, so not too heavy. So cool. Yeah, I'll get the other ones installed on the other side, get everything snugged up, then go through real quick and torque everything, and we'll go from there. Alright, so here on the driver's side, right by the back mount, there is your brake line guide. I need to remove this bracket and move it up here. Take that out. Now there's this tab here, which you're going to have to bend out flat. So you move that up. It's not, there's no hole for it to go in, so that's got to get bent flat. So now I just got to take this clip. Oh shit. Alright, well, supposed to remove that clip and then push it up there. Now let me go try to find a magnet so I can pull that clip out of there. Alright, didn't find a magnet, but I did. I was able to fish it out. So now I'm going to actually move that up to there. I need to move this back. And tighten that back in there. So that just pushes those brake cables up a little bit, so this isn't hitting that, which it would have been if it was down. So now you got clearance for that. Let's see what's next. Alright, so this is the main wiring harness. It's a bit intimidating, to be honest, but should be alright. I'll just go follow along the directions and see what happens. First thing is to remove the fuse and connect the black and red terminal wires. Don't have a razor blade on me right this second. There. Alright, so got those connected. Alright, so this is the short side. Run along the passenger side and go down. Then the long side is going to come along to the driver's side and go down. That took a while. That's probably the hardest part of this, is just finding where to route these cables. On the passenger side is pretty easy. Get down through here. Once you get down, there's really nothing in the way. It comes down. Just ran it back behind this mount, and then this plugs into the motor, and then there's the 2 plugs left to do the LEDs on. Driver's side here, they ran it, it says to zip tie it up in there, except for I didn't find any place really to zip tie it. I have it tucked in there, found a couple of places to zip tie, then run back through here, back down, then back and up underneath this mount here. And now the plug is plugged in there, and got the wires for the LEDs, and then for the controller here. Alright, so my other camera died, but here under the carpet on the driver's side there's a small rubber grommet. We look underneath, we can see it's just this grommet here. So you need to poke a small hole in there to run these wires up through there. Alright, so push those wires up through. I just used a small screw to make a hole in that grommet so I could push these through. Then they get spliced together with this here, and this just gets plugged into your OBD2 port. And so splice that together, tuck those wires in. Alright, so I marked with this yellow tape here where holes should be drilled. I had to go to the store. I didn't have a 19/64 drill bit, so I had to get one of those. But it says mark halfway, ½ inch on here, and drill hole in each one of those. Then there's grommets that will fit in there, and to run the wires for the LEDs. So I'll go ahead and get those drilled out and get that installed. Alright, so here's one of the holes drilled. Got this little rubber grommet here. Got that in. That'll go there, and then the shorter of the 2 wires go in there, so that will connect. Alright, so just for comparison, here's the stock running board, and this is the amp one. It's actually got a pretty wide step to it. I mean, that's half my foot there. That feels like maybe 1/4 of my foot. And that's probably why you should use 2 people. So up here, where we connect it, the red and black terminals, we got these cables coming off, and that is going to connect it here to this. So everything's installed. Still have to tuck the wires away and get everything zip tied and cleaned up a bit with the wires. I want to actually make sure that it's working, so come over, put the circuit, the fuse in. And put the fuse in. As soon as I did, board's disappeared, which looks awesome. Hopefully they open. Got the lights working. Those are pretty sturdy feeling. Awesome. Let's try the back door here. Oops. It opened. Let's make sure they cool. So if you keep your foot on it or some pressure on it, they will stay down, which is enough for safety. You don't want to scrunch something in there. But open the door again, close it. That makes me a happy camper. So I will go through, finish buttoning everything up. Starting to get kind of cloudy and dark. I don't know if I get a chance to clean it. Maybe I can do a quick wash on the truck. But I did get the steps installed, so I'll get everything cleaned up and see where we're at from there. Alright, so there we can get a better view of the side with the steps up, which I think looks awesome. And if you didn't know to look for the steps, you wouldn't even notice them, I don't think. But it definitely goes with the rest of the truck with the black accents everywhere. Woke up. Apparently I locked myself out. Let's go around to the other side here. Open them up. Great. Taking another step over here. Make sure the back doors are working. Yep. So, awesome. As long as these last, I haven't seen any complaints about them lasting or not lasting, so I look forward to having these on the truck, and I hope they continue to work well. So getting it washed, got it, hit it with the foam cannon, letting it soak. I'm gonna give it a quick once over. Probably not gonna get it as clean as I would like. I'm running out of day, but at least it's getting some cleaned a little bit. All right, it's about out of light, but did get a good quick cleaning done. First time I actually got to put some wheel shine on and clean the wheels up, or some tire shine and clean the wheels up. So looking much better now that she's all cleaned up. Productive day, gonna call it a day, and thanks for watching.